Good evening. My name is Courtney Pimentel, and this is my Cultural Competence Reflections video for EDU 330 Social Justice for Educators at Grand Canyon University. Being a culturally competent educator means understanding that there is no such thing as a dominant group of learners. Everyone is different, and everyone comes from different households, socioeconomic statuses, religions, ethnicities, and cultures. As a culturally competent educator, it is important to make it a priority to understand each child and their backgrounds. This means getting to know the communities our students reside in, as well as their families. This will help to ensure each child transitions smoothly into class, feels welcomed, loved, and appreciated. Furthermore, where do I see myself on the cultural competency continuum chart? I would say that I am a level 4, cultural pre-competence. I'm a level 4 because I know that I have not fully transitioned into a cultural neutrality mindset. I tend to let my implicit biases decide on who a person is and what to expect of them. Implicit biases in the school system promote controversy among teachers and their students. Children are often classified into categories according to race, religion, gender, culture, and ethnicity. This represents discrimination against students and is uncalled for. I know that as an educator, if I do not move past my implicit biases, I too will be a teacher who discriminates and picks sides. I do not want to be the educator that judges her students on what they look like or where they come from. And so moving forward, I know that I need to make it an effort to change, to ensure I continue to progress forward on the cultural competency continuum chart. I will make it an effort to experience and communicate with other cultures, religions, and ethnicities through community festivals and organizations. Exposing myself to the cultural and ethnical differences of my students is a good way to become more open-minded and accepting of ideas and beliefs that I am unfamiliar with. Communicating with individuals who share differing ideas and beliefs is a good way for me to better understand how to approach and teach my students without unintentionally offending or upsetting my class, and pulling away from any implicit biases that may cause discrimination against my students. Participation in these festivals and community organizations is also a good way for me to learn how to create a welcoming, safe learning environment that is supportive and compassionate of all students, regardless of who they are. Furthermore, I am an advocate for literature. I know that deepening my cultural competence is going to take more than attending cultural and ethnical festivals. I plan to read books that further explain cultural and ethnical practices because I want to have the knowledge I need to communicate properly with each child and teach them equally. Other books I will be adding to my at-home library will be books that teach multicultural classroom management and pedagogy. I will also be making an effort to attend all workshops provided by the school district to further my multicultural knowledge and acceptance. In my spare time, I will make it a priority to volunteer for community organizations to better understand my community and the people who reside within it so I can better serve and lead my children to academic success. And so, in order to provide my students with a culturally inclusive classroom, I will surround my class with art from around the world, apply posters to the classroom walls that represent different cultures, ethnicities, races, gender, and disability. I want my children to be recognized and appreciated for who they are and where they come from. I would also provide literature from authors living all around the world. Most importantly, however, would be ensuring my students receive an unbiased, anti-racist, and anti-discriminatory education. I would do this by teaching history lessons and science lessons from a variety of different perspectives. For example, the Civil War would not only be told from the white man's perspective, but also through the African American person's perspective. I do not want one group of students thinking that they are better than another, and taking a look at all perspectives of a controversial situation is a step in the right direction. And lastly, I will ensure that I am respecting my students by allowing them to speak out if they feel I have offended them or discriminated against them in any way. I will also provide my class with a comment suggestion box so that my students can place suggestions on how I can better teach them or comment on something about my teaching that they like or something that I need to improve on. Giving students a voice is the best way to show them that I respect who they are and value their opinions. An instructor who does not allow their students to have a voice is degrading and promotes inequality. There is no one person who is better than another, and everybody has a right to speak up for injustice and fight for equality. Thank you. Have a good night.